Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Michael Noland here. Tonight I'm going to be sharing an interview that I was part of on ROYCE in the House. There the panel was able to interview rocker and character actor in many movies that you yourself have probably seen. Billy, of course, is one of my favorite new character actors, and he's been in such films such as Jonah Hex, Machete, and even a Rob Zombie film. Now I know I'm off from the channel this week, but I had to get this bit done. But you know, I was on the panel minutes after I finished shooting my last video, so I thought I'd get this one out for you guys today to hold you over until I can get back to the channel. As most of you know, I'm headed for surgery day after tomorrow, and I'm not sure how long my recovery time after that surgery will be, but I can guarantee you I will be back on the channel ASAP. You know, Billy, I want to thank you for taking time out and talking to us on the panel the other night. It was a wonderful experience talking to you, getting your ideas, discussing such things as what it takes to make it in the music industry and being an actor at the same time. You know, I want to thank Lou and Dan and especially ROYCE for having me on. It was a wonderful time. Now what I've done is I've taken small portions of that interview, so if you want to see the whole thing, go on over to ROYCE in the House. And by the way, when you're there, go ahead and sign up for his channel. Great things are happening over there. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into our interview with actor and rocker Billy Blair.
Our special guest tonight, Billy Blair. Billy Blair started in music, transitioned to the film industry, and is currently doing both. And he's going to have a great story to tell. Now, Billy, you came from a musical family. I read where your grandfather basically led a big band down in Mexico.
I never met him, unfortunately. He died before I was born. But yeah, I mean, that whole family, I mean, even with my great uncles and everybody with the same bloodline there were musicians. They were like big bands. My grandfather got hired by Pancho Villa.
That guy? That's what I read. He actually played for historical figures like Pancho Villa.
Man. One of his parties, he hired my grandfather's band. I mean, when I heard that, I was like, man, that is cool.
That is really cool.
But the bloodline goes like even further. I mean, I'm related to Edgar Allan Poe. That's where I get all the freakiness from, I guess.
Quote the Raven, nevermore. And so you knew from an early age. I mean, you were born in what, El Paso, Texas? Grew up in that area?
Yeah.
And you knew from an early age, like 6 years old or something, what you wanted to do. You wanted to be a musician.
I remember going to it was a Woolco store back in the day. They don't have that anymore. But I saw Kiss Alive 2 record. When I was 5 years old, man. I was like, I don't know, man. The album cover, I mean, you've seen it. It just drew my attention. It was between that or a Hot Wheel. So I went up to it and I go, man, I want this. I don't know. Gene Simmons blood, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So I remember my grandma was like, you want that? She goes, well, she's like, I'm not going to get you a Hot Wheel if you're going to get that. I go, I don't care. So that changed my life forever right there.
Hey, Billy, didn't you also think you're missing one more big personage that kind of influenced you? You said Kiss and Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Sesame Street's awesome.
Well, dude, I mean, when I was a kid, I was in front of the TV.
Yeah, that was the shit.
Yeah, back in the day, right? Where it was just like
that was the
fun.
shit. Yeah.
Billy, I got to ask you, okay, so what instrument did you play mainly?
Guitar. I started with guitar. Okay. It's funny because my uncle had a guitar when he was young, never used it. So I was the one playing with it. Okay, so the band that really got me to play music was Motley Crue.
Oh, okay.
Because it was Looks That Kill video. And I just remember watching Looks That Kill. I go, exactly. That's what I want to do, man. And so I took Vince Neil. I love the way, you know, he was like with his mic stand and everything. I go, you know, I'm going to be a singer. So we all chose to be, I'll be the singer, you're the guitarist, we'll get a drummer and a bass player. And we had to learn our instruments. But I already sang before, so it was easy for me. And so that's where it built up. It escalated from there.
Now, one of the bands that you were in, that you formed, was it has an acronym of LSD.
Yeah, that's my band now.
Well, you used to the LSD used to stand for something else back about 10 years ago.
Okay, yeah, you're right. So, so I formed that band. That band was a great band. I mean, we had Nikki McKibben from American Idol, and then I had my old buddy Rico, and then Holly on bass, but she's doing other things on her own. Man, we had 2 rock guys, 2 rock girls, and a hard rocking band. Nothing could go wrong. It blew up pretty quick. I mean, we got signed. We got signed by Warrant's label, Downboy Records,
nice.
At the time, and so it like blew up really quick, and then it died real quick. And then I started other bands after that, of course. But I started it back up. It's like whatever I had going with that band, I wanted to bring that magic back, and the same songs. I mean, I wrote all the songs and everything.
No, wow. Nice.
So everything I brought to the table, I'm using it now. I just modified it a little bit different, changed the name a little bit. Now it's Love Sick Drug. Before it was Love Stricken Demise. Now it's Love Sick Drug, and it's doing great.
You know, your first version of that band, I remember I got you guys hired at Ride for Dime.
Yeah.
When was that? 2011, somewhere around there.
I'll never forget. It was so freaking hot.
You know, when I was one of the problems, when you say you're playing guitar, one of the problems I had 2015 tour we were touring around, when you're on those outdoor stages, people don't think about this. A lot of your electronics, the LEDs and so forth, you can't see them. So all the code numbers that I needed to know when I'm shifting gears on songs, you're playing blind. People don't know that. You're playing blind up there. It's hard.
You're punching buttons that, you know, you're remembering 3 to the left, 4 to the right.
You're right. It's true. It's like, hey, Billy, why'd you get into acting? It's music then acting, right? Because a lot of guys tried. I've noticed a lot of actors are kind of like want to be musicians. You ever notice that? They go the other way. Right? But you went the other way. So tell us about that. I'm curious of what spawned that.
Well, I love the entertainment business. This was like in the 90s. I was like, man, I really just was intrigued by acting. The one thing that scared me was memorizing stuff. Because I always thought, how do you memorize that?
God. Yeah.
But so I went to college and I took theater. That opened my mind to everything. It was like, oh, okay, I get it. The character development. It's not so bad learning memorizing your lines. And there's a difference between theater and then film. Of course, theater, you got to memorize the whole book, you know, the whole script, like all at once. Movies, luckily, whatever day you're shooting that day, you just got to know whatever scenes you're shooting that day.
Plus, they can do a cut and go back and do it again too.
Yeah. You cut, you mess up, cut, start over.
Right
Theater, you got to kind of tumble along and get back up and continue. But I prefer film. Film's just so much fun and easier. Movie premieres are amazing.
One of the best scenes that I've seen you in is where you play the guy who needs a fix. And the guy comes by you in the car, picks you up, and makes a deal with you, right? And you gotta do him a favor. And
you like that one?
You swore you would never do again, but you're a junkie, man. And, dude, you understood that character. I could see it, man. I've known people who.
Well, shit, I've been there, man. Rock and roll. It's the rock and roll life.
Excellent.
That's the cool thing about being an actor, and I always said that. I go, look, and having a hard life is, if you go through turmoil, depression, drug use, whatever it is, if you've been through that and lived through it, and then you're an actor, you know where, and you got to portray that on film. You could always go back to that moment. Good example, Robert De Niro and Taxi Driver. Yeah. Right. He actually, before the shoot, he actually went and drove a taxi around in New York, just to get the feel of it. I mean, when actors do that, man, that's fucking great.
Yeah,
I think that's the way.
Billy, now you've got a new movie coming out that's going to be released on Shudder, I read.
Yeah, it's what Josiah saw.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We shot that in Oklahoma. They're shooting a lot of movies in Oklahoma. That's got Robert Patrick. Oh, and Nick Stahl. He was a great guy. He's been in a lot of stuff. He was in Sin City and everything. So yeah, August 4th, Shutter.
So if you had to pick one, Billy, acting, music, you can only have one. Which one would you drop?
I would drop music and go to movies. Again, it pays the bills, man.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
It pays the bills.
Plus, at least I've never done a movie like, I did the reality TV thing. That's a whole different game. But I have to say, for me, there's nothing like that moment when the band is running on all cylinders.
Oh yeah.
And the crowd is hot and you're hot, your feet, and it's just a cycle of energy, the feeling, the sound, everything. There's nothing like it in the world.
I know, man. That's why it's tough. Even though, like I said, acting pays the bills, but dude, going up on stage, touring, playing, whether it's a festival, outdoors, indoors, it's a good feeling, man.
I heard one story when you first started working for Rob Zombie, and I was thoroughly blown away from about this. Rob Zombie, tell the story, Billy. Rob Zombie is actually a fan of, and you brought him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I told you the Bee Gees.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
That doesn't surprise me, actually.
Rob Zombie and the Bee Gees.
Yeah, but it makes sense because his music has that upbeat, that kind of dance disco beat.
Yeah.
But I learned. Okay, so I found this out. I was hanging out with Johnny Pool. Luckily, I was hanging out with CJ Pierce before I went on set, and I knew that they worked with Rob Zombie. And then I was like, "Hey, I heard, didn't you work with Rob Zombie?" I go, "How was he like?" And the first thing he goes, "Oh, he loves disco, man. He loves the Bee Gees." I go, "All right, cool. Now I know what to get him." So I ordered a Bee Gees shirt. And I figured he's a large, so I got a large. And yeah, man.
That's funny, man.
On set, I got with him where I got to shoot the shit with him. I said, "Hey, man, you mind going to the trailer? I got something for you." And then we went there, and I gave it to him, and he pulled it up. He goes, "Oh, the Bee Gees." He goes, "I love the Bee Gees." I go, "I know." It was cool, man. When I did my Cherokee Creek movie, a lot of that story are real life. I mean, we just stories that we've heard and stories I was telling the director. He goes, "Man, can I put that in a movie?" So they do that. They put real life stuff. I mean, why not? It makes it interesting.
Hey Billy, didn't you do a soundtrack for a movie?
I've done like a couple with my movies, but I got one coming out. It's a Western. I don't know if you know Isaiah Washington. He's coming out with his debut territorial movie called Corsicana. Luckily, we're on the rap party. He found out I was in the band. He goes, "Hey, why don't you write a song for the movie?" And instantly, it came to me. I go, "I got one."
Like
back then, it was just hush hush. Back then, it was just mysterious.
Shout out here.
Right. His last show is amazing, folks, too. Go back and check out
amazing.
Michael's show. I just watched his last two. They're really good.
Yeah.
Your following's getting big, Michael. You're getting big, dude.
Oh my God.
He's great. Man, you're getting big.
It's blown me away, the response. And, I'll tell you what's happened is it's the sharing of the videos, man. It just gets down to that. A couple of key subscribers have really gone the extra distance. And as a matter of fact, I was saying before my latest video, I covered Kenny Loggins and his vocal coach. And I had actually included that aspect in the second half of that video, mainly because it was such a positive way of handling somebody whose voice is aging, right? So anyway, he got a hold of me, and we're about ready to do an interview. So once I get back, like I said before, I'm going to be off a few days because I've got a couple of things coming up. I've got a surgery. I've already announced that on my channel. But once I'm back, then of course, Ken and I will have that interview. But what I'm seeing in rock and roll, and I think why the channel's taken off, is the positive things that we can do, recognizing what's wrong with the music industry today, and what can we do as fans? Raise our level of expectations, not pay for just any old concert, and it's
Right.
taken off, man. It's got a life of its own. But
Well,
thanks for bringing that up, Royce. I appreciate it.
oh yeah, you know, we've
Yeah.
been talking a lot about our aging rock gods, and you know, I've been wanting to do a show on our aging rock gods, you know, and how that's affecting the entire industry right now. And some of them are lip syncing a little bit. Some of them have strong backups behind them, you know, filling in for them and things like that. And I think that would be a great podcast to do. And
That would be a good one.
Michael,
Yeah.
even recently you touched on it in one of your shows. And we've been talking about it here for weeks, but I think we need to do a podcast pretty soon on our aging rock gods, because it's really changing out there. And you know what? We've been listening. I mean, I was in sixth grade when the British invasion hit, you know, junior high, you're in the Rolling Stones and, you know, the mod look and all that stuff. And I've seen that going all the way back, you know, to the Beatles coming on the Ed Sullivan Show. And it's really changed. And I don't know who's going to take the place of these guys, because there's not that much in the way of.
No, man, there's not. There's no.
You did a great show on Greta Van Fleet, Michael. I really enjoyed that, and I haven't gotten any of their music, but I want to get some. I bought Robert Plant and Alison Krauss last night. I think it's called "Tear the Roof Off." It's a 2-album set.
Good album.
Great album. Well, believe it or not, it was on sale at Target for like $8 and change. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
I just got it yesterday, and we brought it home and listened to it. My wife and I both absolutely loved it. And it's like you always say, here's one guy that you know, I mean, he was a rock god. He was an Adonis up there, had the most wonderful voice in rock and roll, and we both consider him our number one front man of all time, you know, as an artist, and probably some of you guys do too. But having said that, he, you know, he's not what he used to be, but he tailors what he's doing to what he can do very, very well, and that's the smart thing to do.
When you started mentioning a few weeks ago about let's start talking about the aging rock stars, I've got an old friend. It was the lead guitar player of Nazareth, Manny Charlton.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, I love
And
Nazareth.
Just passed,
you know, and
passed away.
I got to know him when he moved from Scotland to Fort Worth, and got to hang out with him, go to rehearsals with him, and you know, we went to an old airplane hangar up in Van Alstyne, Texas, where he rehearsed, and he opened up for Aska one time down at the Curtain Club in Deep Ellum. So I got to know him for a couple of years there, and then we kind of lost track of each other. And when you mentioned about aging rock stars, I thought, you know, Manny's kind of getting up there. Maybe I ought to try to get a hold of him, bring him on the show.
Yeah.
So I did some research on him, you know, and just kind of put it aside. Then I heard last night that he died on July 5th. And that was about the same time I was searching for him.
Oh, he just died?
Yes.
Yeah,
July
he passed
5th.
away.
All right, so that covers the video for tonight. Like I said, I should be back next week, and I've got some great videos planned for you guys. I'm going to continue my Led Zeppelin Decoded series, of course, and my brand new Beatles series, Beatles Unlocked. As I've mentioned before, I've got a conversation coming up with Ken Stacy, the vocal coach for Kenny Loggins, and many more. But you know, Ken's not just a vocal coach, although he was one of the coaches for American Idol. He's also an instrumentalist and a vocalist himself. He has supplied instrumentation and backing vocals for Elton John and Michael Jackson. So as soon as I can get back into the swing of things, guys, these are just some of the videos coming your way. All right, so that about covers it for tonight. I'm Michael Nolan. This, of course, is The Bottom Line, and I'll see you in my next video.